So here we go with Cyanide versus the Nonsense Factory. This, if I'm not mistaken, is the lower elo bracket, the 1200 max. And they have random civs as per the rules. We'll be switching civs for the next one. Yeah, Villager idling to the north for the Nonsense Factory, dropping a house and a dock here to the north, and has found a nice wood line to place as the first settlement here. Right up to the wood line, has some deer, has a boar, and has a gold access. Fantastic starting spot for the Cumans here for this one. Let's look at Cyanide, what their situation is like. Dock placement to the other corner of the opponent. Not too far away actually, so we might see some naval wars early feudal here. TC placement. Oof. These guys are really close. So this could be a short game, but at least it's not a TC war. I mean, if the TCs were within range of each other, the players have one restart before 5 minutes have passed, so that's an option anyway. So if they find each other soon enough here, they could still call the re. But yeah, interesting position for sure. They will be sharing resources here, and Cyanide probably will spot the enemy either by chance moving villagers in this direction, or once he sees this hunt being taken. Interesting. Wouldn't be surprised to see an 11 taunt in chat soon. This sheep is bound to run into enemy territory if it goes to the right side here. But while waiting for the game to progress, Cyanide a bit swifter to the production, it seems. The villager counts are slightly higher for Cyanide here, like a quarter of a villager lead or something. So a bit of fast forwarding here now to see what the feudal age brings. Meanwhile, we could have a look at the stats here. Cyanide keeping that flow of food eco, keeping consistent villager production, as goes for the Nonsense Factory as well. Cyanide also with the fishing ships here. I'm looking at the scouting, getting some nice scouting intel, and here's the sheep of Nonsense Factory and the villagers moving right into Cyanide's territory. Cyanide converting the sheep, and the Nonsense Factory may or may not be a little bit stressed out by... I wonder why the TC doesn't show actually, but stressed out by the fact that they are so close. So both players at 15 population seem evenly matched so far. You could try exclamation mark rank and the player's nickname in chat if you want to know their current elo and ranking. Scouting seems decent for both as well, not really extending to too much scouting on water, but that's for when you go up to the next stage. Cyanide still with a slight builder lead here, could be water production as well, because the actual numbers of fishing ships is quite much higher here for the Slavs player, as the actual villager count is 15. Judging from the food count though, getting close to clicking the next age here, only just needs the second building before doing so. The Nonsense Factory committing mainly to wood here, wants to get more fishing ships out, I bet, has a lot on the queue, and it's eating the last boar here. There's some hunt to be taken down here though, so that's good also. Help with the overall income of the food here. It's going to be a feudal age head start for the Slavs player here, which could be huge against Cumans here. Cumans sometimes would commit to a, or more often than not, would commit to an extended feudal age because they can build a second TC in feudal. Admittedly, something that could come in handy on NOMAD. I mean, the Nonsense Factory could drop the second TC here. And even if the opponent with Slavs reaches cast stage quicker and siege pushes this TC, you would still have a secondary base somewhere else. So you could take map control earlier with Cumans and benefit from it. But then there's naval investment coming into play as well. It's wood heavy to fight for water and to extend the fish boom, so Depends on the player's choices here. I think Cyanide is setting up for somewhat of a fast cast layer or the water fighting. Remains to be seen. Not really scouting with the ships on water just yet, but going to gold here to try and gain some into. Oh, Garrison's TC will maybe snipe a villager here. That's close, but not quite yet. So if the Nonsense Factory didn't know before, definitely knows now by now that this is the TC location of Cyanide. And if I were the Nonsense Factory now, I would panic a little bit because I just clicked Feudal and the enemy just reached Feudal Age. Means that Cyanide can already start dropping towers. Could almost consider going into stone here instead and try to neglect some home eco of the Nonsense Factory here. See walls go up, that's a good reaction to the player being much earlier to the Feudal Age here. The economy going into the next stage will be strong for the Nonsense Factory considering a Feudal Age up click at 31 pop here, but that doesn't negate the fact that the Cyanide has the technology lead here. Could drop a tower right away. This would be somewhere around here would be a nice spot, maybe over here to deny both the lumber camp and the wooden area TC. Wow, barracks range for Cyanide here. Going into the slabs archers then. With 3 on gold. Well, that's the appropriate amount for 1 range archers. Rushes is that one up a little bit. But with the TC here for the Cumans player, it's somewhat limited what you can do. But that's probably also a reaction to the fact that the Cuman player is walling here. Look at their ecos have lots and lots of wood. Could drop the second TC. Ah, beautiful! Alright. We have a TC drop. Second TC for the Nonsense Factory here is going to contest Cyanide's TC here. Oh, I love it. Problem with the Cumans TC douche like this though is that the second TC builds so slowly. It's going to take a long while to get it up, and the forwardmost villagers here are also within the line of sight and fire from Cyanide's TC here. So Cyanide could garrison here and get some hits in. We see Fire Galleys in the making for the Nonsense Factory as well. Wants to challenge water. Still has yet to find where Cyanide's dock is though. Alright, so a Feudal Age TC push here. Cyanide nowhere near clicking that Castle Age, so this could be devastating for them. It's the Cuman douche. Yeah, Cyanide wisely escapes here, just expects to lose this starting TC here. Will need some more wood to drop another one though. And considering the investment of 2 TCs for the Cumans player here, Cyanide would also know that they won't be reaching Castle Age anytime soon. Some archers here to try and hit enemy eco maybe, or limit expansion. But this move here certainly could have never anticipated that happening, especially since the Cuman second TC also builds a lot slower. Idle count for the Nonsense Factory is now 13, but the overall villager count is higher with the potential of producing from 2 TCs, but for now only producing out of 1 of them. Meanwhile, Cyanide is collecting wood, is going to bail on this TC and just rebuild it over here, I guess, or something. Let's see if there is some naval army at work. I did see a fire galley in queue somewhere, but I don't really see any ships. Let's see, range unit, no, nothing there. One more ship for the Nonsense Factory here. It's okay, so here it's not really doing anything just yet. Feudal TC indeed goes down for Cyanide here, and the Cumans player drops a barracks to either get some army on the field or to just have the barracks ready to drop a stables later. Barracks gets denied by Cyanide's archers though, so that's good work with the existing army of Cyanide, not really producing anything at the moment. And understandably so, as the TC is going up and villagers won't be made anytime soon anyway. Oh, the Nonsense Factory actually bails on that barracks instead of trying to rush it up, and will try to build it somewhere else. Could have been a misclick as well, considering that the villagers jumped out here. Cyanide's Cyanide's archers had fletching here, so you can't really fight those easily with villagers either. Here we go to Cuman farms, extending that feudal boom. Cyanide's archers looking for trouble here to find somewhere to hit. DC is back up as well, so that won't be pushed down anytime soon. All in all, I think that abandoning that DC straight away was a good choice to get it out somewhere else. You know that the Cumans will gain a significant villager lead, but you also know that you might still be able to beat them to the Castle Age. There is some... was there some action on water? Yeah, the fire ship is over here, so Cyanide not subject to water aggression too much just yet. Committing to the archers here, Slavs, archers for Cyanide now actually broke through here and could get some nice hits in. See the Nonsense Factory responding here with archery range of their own to defend here, and they almost denies it, but the villager goes down at least, so that's some value. This stealth villager here dodges the archer's fire and runs quickly back home to save his own life. And it is indeed, as speculated, a Cyanide going to the Castle Age first. That's going to provide some technology lead here, although the Nonsense Factory is currently housed and only missing 300 food for that Castle Age click. However, only the range is up. No blacksmith for the Nonsense Factory yet, so they will also need another feudal age building in order to click to the next stage. The eco is diverse though. These villagers will go down on the stone here, so that's going to be a good trade for Cyanide. Or not? Will they make it? Well, this man should die at least. So yeah, Castle Age timing shouldn't be that different. The blacksmith is up, but Castle Age is clicked. So 50% behind for the Cumans player with a much stronger economy to back it, and even with 790 stone in the bank, losing the stone access here from Cyanide's archers, but a castle drop definitely within the possibilities here. Maybe on this hill to deny some golds and stones of Cyanide, who knows. And another villager not being sniped by Cyanide here. I know it's hard to spot them behind the buildings, but and all the more to target them, but still, army lead undeniably for Cyanide here. Also going into the Castle Stage means that crossbows could be researched pretty soon, and that's going to give a nice power spike with that extra range and attack output. Could hit this gold, for example. Not much fighting happening on or for water either. Both players fishing peacefully, so they have some food income boost there. Archers on this side, there are skirmishers of Nonsense Factory, but once crossbow kicks in, ideally they'd have some armor as well, but they have more damage output and more range, and are even abusing the minimum range of the skirmishers here, so that's a very good trade for Cyanide for now. Crossbows on both sides, dangerously close to TCs, but now tries to pass through to hunt some villagers. I'm not sure if that's the right call here. Could be a misclick pathing right in the middle of two TCs here, because that's a lot of crossbows going down for nothing, almost nothing here. One villager down though, and villager counts evening out here. It's 56 to 41 now, as the Nonsense Factory drops a siege workshop now to the side, right next to the production of Cyanide. Could go into either ramps or mangonels here to try and take down this production here. KD is pretty similar between the players. Ecos are... oh, let's see. Eco looks better for Cyanide actually, because the Nonsense Factory is getting severely idle here now with more than or like 2/3 of the Eco idle, and Cyanide is dropping a second town center here on this gold to secure that from whatever is coming. There is a Manuel coming out though, so if the Nonsense Factory is paying attention here, this TC could be easily denied, but it's just outside of the, or just inside the fog of war here, so I don't think the Nonsense Factory will be addressing this, but rather dealing with the archers forward at home here. Wheelbarrow is on the way for Cyanide. That's going to extend that eco even more, and the wheel number is now 10 difference only with the second TC. It could even out more here. Mangonel going to get a good shot here, maybe. Castle gets denied though, so that's good work from Cyanide there. And also good Archer's Micro to dodge the Mangonel shots for now. Here comes the Scout as well, and the Nonsense Factory will need to back towards the TC. Will ideally force some repairs on this Mangonel as well. And there, finally, a great Mangonel shot for the Nonsense Factory, taking out some of the Cyanide's archers. That was actually an attack round, still a great hit. And yet more crossbows go down, and suddenly the military numbers aren't as scary. It's 5-2 military now. Cyanide still with the stronger eco, I'd argue though. Looks like a good setup here, and set up still for the archers, which could easily be transitioned into a siege push as well with Slavs, because they have great siege, and when you're already set up for wood and gold for the push, you could just drop a siege workshop and stop making archers and go into siege instead. This castle of the Nonsense Factory limits a siege push though, but this TC is still able to be pushed. I don't know how to play with Slavs. Yeah, that's the issue with random. But archers is fine. I mean, Slavs get crossbows, but it ends there. They don't get arbalest, right? And let's see. Oh, they don't get famine either. Okay, so they don't have great archers. But I mean, why not? It's a fine castle-ish play, and then you could go into siege and infantry in the Imperial Age instead, which is playing to the Slav strength. I think they're classified as infantry and siege civilization. Mangonel's pushing from the Nonsense Factory here now. Still army lead by far for Cyanide though. The only thing stopping the expansion here would be this castle stopping here. Oh, my games usually end in Castle Age or before, so missing arms was not a big issue. Ah, okay. I see. Well, going into stables here though, that's good. Slavs have absolutely decent stable units as well. They get Cavalier with full upgrades, I'd say. Yeah, full upgrades, and then you'd have the Boyar unique unit as well, which is almost equivalent to a Paladin, at least in melee armor and strength. Archers production going down for Cyanide here. Setting up the food and gold eco for knights though, and even adding some skirms, which is a great addition against Kipchak. Kipchak with +1 armor here. No bloodlines, only 40 HP. There isn't a stable yet for the Nonsense Factory here, so that's going to be hurtful for the Kipchaks, as the scouts of the Slavs player here enter and almost pick off a Mangonel here. There it is. Kipchak doing their best here as the scouts run into snipe another Mangonel. Fantastic value from the scouts here, and crossbows also doing good against the Kipchak here, considering that Kipchak only have 40 HP, no blowlines, only 1 armor. Easy fight for the crossbows to take, as long as you have some way to handle the enemy siege as well, like this. Yeah, a bit scary to move forward here for Cyanide. Backs off again, I think is a good move. We'll have to wait for some knights to enter the field to get this one out. But the housing situation makes knights production a little bit awkward here. There we go, yeah, dropping quite a few houses now, will not be housed for a while here, Cyanide. I like the mix of the remaining crossbows and skirms here, though. Skirms, no armor at all, that could be hurtful against, for example, Mangonel shots, but here's going to be a 1-for-1, I think. And then crossbows and skirms to chase the remaining Kipchaks. I'm not sure who to vouch for here. I mean, Nonsense Factory has a little bit more villager population, but it also has a more unstable eco setup here with 16 on food, yes, but more wood and lots of gold in the bank. Not spending nearly enough resources here. Could easily add more siege, queue more mangonels, or more kipchaks here, just to make sure that there's a constant flow of units production. Kipchak struggling against even a +1 knight here, actually. And Mangonel getting a fantastic hit in on the Kipchaks here, so the trades slightly better numbers-wise for the Nonsense Factory, but all in all, good micro for both players here. That was a fantastic hit by the Nonsense Factory, though, getting both the Mangonel and crossbows and skirmishes here. Still no fighting on water, so free boom for both players here. On the sea there is one fire galley, but that's just idling out here. Nonsense Factory is long distance fishing here because yeah, only one dock and far travel. From the look of the map though, I'd say the Nonsense Factory has a little bit more map control here. Here comes the university as well, maybe for ballistics and those things for the Kipchak. And another great mangonel hit on the crossbows of Cyanide. 7 to 5 military between the players now. And yeah, after a few mangonel hits, it doesn't look too pretty for the KD for Cyanide anymore. It is 70 to 46 here. Some knights chasing those, so it's going to be dealt with yet again. The issue though being this castle limiting forward progression for Cyanide on this side. I hear one melee unit attacking somewhere though. Knights getting some raids in here, that is good to see, and the overall villager situation now 81 to 71 here. And Knights still with a +1, let's see Cyanide's eco setup here. Yeah, committing to army over here. Here's the +2 on the way actually, so that's great news. That's going to render the Knights less vulnerable to town center and Kipchak fire and make the fights more easier for the Knights to take against any ranged approach here. Looks like Cyanide is off gold here. We'll have to find another one now. Some idle farms or depleted farms around the TC as well. Going heavily into gold now. Could be looking at a castle drop on this side maybe. This would be a nice castle spot, for example, to deny one TC and also the siege production. But in order to win this game, I think Cyanide still needs to expand more on the map or challenge water to try and take the Nonsense Factory off this admittedly very idle fishing eco. Cyanide is also starving for gold for the time being. We'll need to scout a little bit. Is there a transport or something problem in the making here? There's a lot of villagers just chilling out over here. Using villagers to scout, probably looking for gold now, looking for another gold spot. And there is one on the hill over here. That will also be a fantastic castle spot if once the stone count for the castle is in. But what happened to the miners? They're still bringing in stone. They are... yeah, they have wheelbarrow as well, so bringing in more per trip, but there's still a while to go for the castle. Ah, okay. Here's the gold as well. A bit further away from the base, but why not? Could actually go for both spots here if needed, but looks like Cyanide wants to go for a castle drop push here, which is also a way to fortify more map control, so certainly a viable play here to defend eco. Food situation seems nice for the Slavs player here. It's 23 on food, so could absolutely consider investing in more farms given the current wood count, but all in all doesn't look too bad. Gold is the main issue now for continued units production. Oh, boom. That was a bad day at work for that guy. Kipchak numbers more scary now. There's a monk in the mix as well. Shouldn't necessarily be a threat with the crossbows on the field as well. And the knights snipe it just in time, unfortunately. Crossbows should stay on the hill here, just back off and use that hill advantage so the Kipchaks can easily engage. Good. That's it. And the traitor knight will be punished right there. That's 4 stables now for Cyanide, going full into Knights here now. So it looks like a healthy eco setup by now. Sold 100 stone or drop the TC. There's a TC on the gold here, securing some map on this side. So now map control wise, looking better for Cyanide here as well. And what's the situation for the Fire Galley? Still down here, not really wanting to fight. It's a deserter, this one. And this looks like a castle drop for me, and that's going to fail spectacularly, running right into enemy castle fire here. The idea is great to deny this gold, but the execution less so, considering that there is already a castle there. We have all been there, running into do something like this and realizing that there is already some building there to take out. That was an extremely efficient castle for the Nonsense Factory here, picking off all 6 or 7 villagers here, trying to build a castle out on the woodland here. So that's 7 villagers down for Cyanide. It's 99 to 70 now, and Cumans in a serious equal lead here now, maybe actually closing in on the Imperial Age click here. Only misses the food now, and with 30 on food, that should be okay. Some of that food could be very inefficient though, considering the traveling distance to the dock. There's only one dock, and there are 11 active fishing ships traveling halfway across the map to get to the drop-off point. Knights still doing work here with +2 and +1 here deals nicely with keep tracks, accompanied by the crossbows here. Fade in a 111 to 103 between these two, and we're on somewhat even terms again. Siege addition now by the Nonsense Factory. Humans get capped ram in the castle age, and that could be huge here to take out the production capabilities of Cyanide. The eco also absolutely allows for quite a strong siege push here from the Nonsense Factory. Skirmishers now being added. They are missing all of the armors. No, so with no armor on the skirmishers, they will die easily. Even being elite, they will lose more to enemy arrow fire. Not you're still there, still elite skirms dealing that damage, since you have the +2 attack, but you want the defense as well for them to be really efficient in this matchup. Look at the Nonsense Factory's eco now, looking very sharp here, almost 30 more villagers total. And Cyanide seems to be struggling, especially for wood here, or going heavily into skirms mainly here. Being hurt a little bit from being 30 villagers behind here, so this push of the Nonsense Factory could be the death blow here, with rams to potentially sulk skirmishers' fire as well. We'll need larger masses of skirms to deal with this total. Cap rams doing serious work as well. There was not many hits to take out that TC actually. And adding castles, good play of course, but with enough capped rams you could even deal with castles with somewhat with ease. So the Nonsense Factory in a good position now to gain more map control, using the Kipchaks and rams here to push, and Cyanide doesn't seem to be able to get to the military numbers necessary here, unfortunately. It's now 34 to 0 military, looking tough to recover from this, with castles to defend eco maybe being a little bit of a help here to secure the gold income, but then there's again I guess the food issue. Something we forget thinking about on maps like NOMAD with water and lots of fish is that the travel distance gets longer and longer as long as you commit to the deep sea fishing, so it's going to be real inefficient unless you commit to fish traps or make new docks closer to the actual deep fish. So in that case, being slabs, you'd want to drop more farms as well, because you could extend your eco more easily in that way and make sure you have actually consistent food income. Oh, it's a whole lot of rams here now. We're looking at 7 capped rams now to just snipe any production buildings that Cyanide can bring to the table here. The Nonsense Factory gaining some serious map control now. There's lots of red on the map now at this stage. And with Imperial Age kicking, that could be a GG moment soon. All of these upgrades coming in for the Nonsense Factory as well. Getting that last defense upgrade for the Kipchaks. And let's see, siege ram, no siege ram yet, only 23 on food for the nonsense factory, but ridiculous wood and gold upsets could make Kipchak and siege for a long while forward here though. Maybe capped rams will actually do the trick here. Military count is now 54 to 7, and the nonsense factory is actually closing in on pop capped situation. He uses these capped rams to their full potential. Doesn't really have the food to support a siege ram upgrade here, but with only skirmishers on the field for Cyanide, that's not going to be enough to deal with the rams, and there are even stray monks here to deal with any knights coming to the table. I don't think Cyanide has any stables left actually, so there we go. Here comes the stable to try and take out the rams. We're with 9 capped rams now. They will just chew up this TC as easy as nothing here. It's 46 or 45 Kipchaks as well. I think they may be missing... no, they have ballistics as well actually. And 11 is called. OG, probably a reaction to the sheer number of Kipchaks here, and the score goes to 1-0 for the nonsense factory for this one. Let's have a look at the ecos and overall here. Interesting game with some interesting developments here, and random sim may be making life tough for the players here. You don't really necessarily know what to go for when you get a random sim thrown into your hands. 147 to 119 KD, not that huge, but then there's the largest army being the issue here. 60 to 24 is quite a bit, and the overall population in the end was almost 100 more for the nonsense factory. Stronger eco overall. That second feudal TC did give an early eco lead, and then the uptime's actually pretty slow feudal age for the nonsense factory there. Could have maybe been addressed, and then there's the fact that none of them really challenged water during the whole game either. That's something that could shift the favors. 128 to 98 villagers in the end, and army domination ending the game.